What happens if you see your emotions as third person? What happens if you're able to self-distance from your emotions? Self-distance, okay? Not social distance. Hi, welcome back to this series of EQ hacks to increase your emotional well-being using emotional intelligence skills. My name is Brindha Kalyanaraman. I'm a certified EQ consultant, a digital coach, and a freedom entrepreneur who runs business based out of freedom. I can work from anywhere in the world. I don't have to travel. All I only have is an internet connection, a laptop, and my knowledge. And my mission is to help 1 lakh women entrepreneurs achieve the same freedom, that is freedom from stress, time, and debts, using their emotional intelligence skills and digital entrepreneurship. So the last episode, we started off with an introduction to emotional intelligence and the EQ hacks, and we also saw the importance of emotional literacy. And the second video, we saw the tools to apply emotional literacy. We saw the Plutchik wheel of emotions, which is an amazing resource for you to use and then become fluent in language of emotions. And this video, we are going to see a technique which will help you become even more fluent with your emotions. Okay. Now, so this episode will help you know the real power of naming emotions, but you have to, exercise the power of self-distancing. So this is the distancing from your own self and from your emotions. So let me explain to you what this self-distancing, technique all about. It is an act of increasing the distance from your own self. When I say your own self, I'm talking about your own egocentric perspective. And when you operate out of that zone where you're distancing from your egocentric perspective, you are able to access the events and emotions that you're going through in that present moment as it is. Okay? Instead of saying, I'm frustrated, you can say, Brinda is frustrated. John is frustrated. If that sounds weird, you can say, one of my feelings is frustration, or I am experiencing frustration. So, this suddenly gives a distance. I can feel the distance when I say this, and it also gives a different perspective. Am I right? Yeah. So, what is the benefit if I do this? See, self-distancing allows you to detach yourself from that emotional turmoil, and this can also help you cope with your negative feelings like, stress or anger. Now, the second thing is, it reduces the duration of that negative feeling so that you don't have to dwell in that negative zone, long time. So it's going to reduce the intensity of that feeling. And the third thing is, usually people tend to display a lot of wise reasoning when they have to advise others, what they have to do in the emotional turmoil. But they are a little hesitant to decide on how to act on themselves during tough situations. So this technique is going to help by asking yourself right kind of questions and that kind of advice that you would give to a friend who's going through the turmoil. So this is going to reduce the dilemma that you are going through, and it's going to give you a different insights. Okay? Now, let me tell you how to do this. Okay? So the first thing that you will do during self-distancing is like you refer yourself as a second or a third person, like using internal dialogues. It should be a monologue, right? See, for example, when faced with difficult situations, instead of asking like, why am I worried about this? If I ask, why are you worried about this? This like somebody else giving me a validation. This is nobody else but me, my own self. Just that I'm distancing myself. Now the second thing is, you can also use this self-distancing by trying to view this person from an alternate viewpoint. That is, shifting your perspective. Suppose you have a heated conversation with somebody, your friend. By shifting your perspective, what's happening is you are standing in that person's shoes and seeing the situation. Now, immediately there'll be a bulb on. You will see those things that you don't want to see. But the key here is, if I have to decode this step and see, what is it going to enable you to do this is, one, you should be willing to come out of your comfort zone and see, those things which are unpleasant also. And then you will realize the gravity of it. Then you will start applying some reasoning towards, okay, oh, maybe this is really hurtful when I have to see from the other perspective. What you're right now doing is practicing self-empathy and others' empathy also, which I will explain to you in the coming series, and this is one of my favorite topic too. Now, essentially here what we are doing is, we are bringing a neutral and external observer here by applying this technique. And usually this is why people, when there is a relationship problem, they go out for a counselor, or even when a person going through some turmoil and they are not able to manage, they venture out for a counselor. It's only for this, for the external validation, a neutral validation. You can do that by your own self. And the third thing is, in some cases, you can do this as visualizing the perspective of an exemplar, like a person whom you admire. And this works like a charm, okay? I do this, and that's the reason I became self-reliant. Because there are many, many times in my life where I did not have guidance at the right time. So I think through certain qualities in people, and I will put myself in their shoes and see how they will act, and I will model that. But again, the key here is, if I have to decode this step and see what is it you need to have, what are the steps for you to get into this mode, is only when you have an habit of observing people and appreciating it, appreciating their good qualities. Only when you start observing a lot of things, whether it is objects or human beings, you will start appreciating it. And only when you appreciate, if you don't appreciate, it's just like any other thing, and you will ignore that and you will move on. But when you start appreciating, you would want to model that, okay? And when you want to model that, you're not ripping them and copying what they're doing. All you have to do is just model that. If it works for you, you take it. Otherwise, you just move on. So observation and appreciation will help you get this perspective of the person whom you admire and see what they will act, how they will act when such situations occur. Okay, this works like a charm. And the last one can be expressive writing. So people, generally have a journal and they start writing their goals and other things. But even such critical situations comes when there is so much dilemma, when there is so much turmoil. All you can do is just start writing, because this writing about your thoughts and feelings, and let you analyze about that event that you have experienced, and it will definitely give you some logic towards that feelings. You try this out as another technique. Now, while all these self-distancing techniques is going to work like a charm, but then these are also obviously naturally calming mechanisms. But you have to remember, emotions are data or information. So all you have to do is remember the last video that we shared. The thumb rule is acknowledge that emotion, don't judge it, and don't try to fix it. So all you're doing is you're going to name the emotions, stay with that feelings. Don't try to immediately change or offer any solutions. And this is going to lead us to the next tip, which I will share you in the next episode. So if I have to recap, all you have to do is you go through the wheels of emotions and you find that name. You name that feeling by understanding that feeling. take a pause, notice the patterns. And after you label that feelings, use internal dialogues and apply self-distancing techniques. If you already found this useful, please leave a comment. Or if you want to apply this and want to share your experience, do that also, because your one word is going to inspire that one person who wants to take action. Until I see you in the next episode, take care. Bye-bye.